Good morning, Donna. Good morning, everyone. I'm just getting it all sorted so I can see the comments on the computer when it decides to move. Yeah. What a hot day today. There we go. I can see it now. Hi, Cynthia. Whew. Super hot. Let's move it up a bit. Wait for my computer to catch up. Seems really strange making. I'm really excited, Donna. I hope it lives up to the expectations. Hi, Jill. Seems weird making hot Christmas things in the middle of summer. But it's the craft world, isn't it? Always do our Christmas stuff in the middle of July and August. Hiya, Joe. Morning. Hi, Kathleen. Ooh, I'll just hang on for a few others to come on, and I'll just grab the dies out that I'm going to be using as well. I've got them all. Well, I thought it was all organised, but obviously not. There we are. I've got lots and lots of drawers with Julie's stuff in. So, yeah, I've got some of the bits here. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, so I'll be using Julie's Christmas postage and more. And when I did the first box, I used the Christmas trees. So this time I'm going to change it up and use just that little poinsettia there. I mean, obviously you can go through any of those, use any of them. I think I might use this one as well. Not sure just yet. And I will also be using Emma's bell jar and lantern set. The stamps and the dies to make a tag, a pretty tag to go on it. So we're using those. But the rest of it really is just cutting, scoring, and getting on, putting it all together. Really, it's quite. I'm going to say it again, and I say it every time. It's simple once you know how. Okay. Morning, Penny. All right. So we do need a fair bit of card, but I've been using 12 by 12 card. I think it's 250 GSM, but you can put lots of layers on it, inside and outside if you want, to make it a little thicker. But to be fair, it's quite a substantial box once you put it all together. Morning, Julie. Okay, so for the main body of the box, we need 2 pieces of card that measure 12 inches by 9.5 inches. Okay, I'm going to show you what you do with them, with this one, but you do that twice. Okay, so if you put the 12 inch across the top, the 12 inch measure, you have to score it at 6.5. Then you rotate it so the 9.5 is against the top, and you score it at 2.5. And you do that to the both pieces, and this will make the main body of your box. So let's put that to one side, and I'll show you how you need to trim it up. So if you burnish the folds, you'll be able to see where you're going better. I find it easier to do that first, and then you're not trying to see white on white on the computer. So you've got the 2.5 inch score line at the bottom, and you're going to just slit up to that score line on that one, and the same on this one. Take off that little rectangle in the corner and do a little tiny mitre there and at the top. Now I always do a little mitre because I find it easier and neater for the finished item. Okay, and that is all you need to do for the body of the box. Okay, as in scoring and trimming. Okay, so that's the box body ready. Now for the lid, let me just get through to my lid. Okay, yeah, for the lid, you need a piece that's 10.5 inches by 9.5 inches. Okay, and it's a reinforced lid, which means it kind of folds back on itself. So if you put the 10.5 at the top, you are going to score it at 1 inch and 2 inches, and then rotate it through all 4 sides doing the same measurements. 1 inch and 2 inches, 1 and 2, and then turn it round again, 1 and 2. Okay, so there's your lid scored, ready to go. Again, I'm going to burnish the folds so I can see where the middle of the score line is to cut through. I'm just doing it for a minute with my hands because I have one ready, but use your bone folders. Nice. So if I lift this up slowly, in this corner you have 4 squares. Okay, best thing to do, easiest way to do this is the outer 3 squares, this one, and this one, on all 4 sides, you have to remove. Now if you mark them first, you can't go wrong, except if you press too hard on your pencil and break the nib. There we go. Mark them like this, take off what you don't need. So I hope you can see that. I'll lift it up. Okay, so now I'm going to start taking them off. So trim up, and take that third off. Okay, now this thing here is going to become the tab. So just give it a little slice up to the next score line, and there's your tab. Okay, and that's what we're doing on all of them. So remove it. It's so bright in here today, I can't even see the middle, but I don't need to use this one anyway because I've got one ready done. So take it off again, this side. This is a really nice lid, nice reinforced lid. Offered them two. Straight up to the score line and offered that one. Okay, and there's your lid. Now you'll see it's got 2 sides. So sometimes it's easier to take a mitre off this tiny edge here as well, which means you can get a nice square flush box. It doesn't hurt to mitre the edges of the tabs. There we go. So essentially what will happen with this is it will go inside and this one will fold in on itself. And it will give you a nice thick wall for the outside of your lid. Right, so that's your lid done. Right, so here we go. Let's start putting this thing together. Right, I think we might get these ready now. So we'll need mats and layers for the outside, or you can go straight on to the actual box itself. You don't need to do mats and layers, but if you've only used 250 GSM card, then these mats and layers will make it a nice thick one. Okay, so we need a mat for the lid to make that look pretty, and that's 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and then the sides are the exact same measurements, 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. They're for the 2 sides that go there. Okay, and then for the big sides we need 6 1/4 by 6 3/4, and we need 2 of them. They're already been stamped, and so you can see the design I'm going to go for here. So they're my sides. So sides done, them sides are done. All I've got to decorate is the lid. Okay, now I've also cut 2 for the inner and outer base, you know, to make it look neat when you open the box. But I'm not going to decorate them this time because that will just take too long. So the inner base and the outer base is 6.5 by 5. Okay, they just stay plain white. All right. The other thing we need is a template for drawing out the window part for the decorations and the shaker kind of part of it. Then, if you will. So for that, we need a piece that is 4.5 by 4.5. Okay. Now, when you cut this piece for your template, you can use it again in a minute. You're not wasting it. You can use that piece again to decorate, to put on the back of the acetate window. Okay, so I hope that's plain for you. Right, so what we need to do then, before we put anything together, is stamp my decoration on the lid and stamp my decoration on the back of the template. Okay, and for that, I'm going to use my stamp platform, but only as a base to rest it on. I'm going to do it sort of freehand. Random then, if you will. So I will need to start with, I think I'll do the window first because I've got the actual stamp ready on the little handly thing. So I'm going to use green for the trees, and it's Distress Ink Peel Paint. Okay, so the little trees that I've got to put in it are going to go there, and these are just a little bit taller. These trees are Julie's off the Postage and More stamp set. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some trees on a little tiny bit away from the bottom. There we are. I'll put one in there and see how many more I can fit in, so that they're a little bit taller. I think 3 will do. Or you could mask them off and put some in the background as well if you want. Okay, and now I'll just remove the handle off that one and get it ready on this little one. Oops, right way up would help. There you go. I'm not going to put anything at the top this time, I don't think. On the last one I put some... Oh, go on, I might as well, since I've got them here. I put a bit of holly just in it. So I think I'll do that now. Just pop a bit of holly on. Let me see which way up it is. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Some random holly bits here and there, so it's not so plain in the background. But because I've got a few different things to use to put on it, as in acetate or whatever, and I'll show you them when I get to them. But obviously I want to be able to see you know, the design of this in the background. Sorry, I'm finding it hard to concentrate on what I'm doing and talk at the same time. Don't usually have that problem. Right, okay. So that's that decorated for the back panel. And now we need to do this one to go on the lid. Okay. So bear in mind it's going that way. So start it that way. For this I'm going to use the Ranger archival ink. Okay. Unfortunately it stains the stamps, but it doesn't do them any harm. It just makes them cut like a reddy colour. And this one's vermilion, so it's not like true bright red, but you know. So let's go for it. Just stamp randomly, as many as you want. Some off, some on. I like, look at me doing random. Oh, I'm getting good at this random now. Put one in the corner. Try and evenly space them. And if you don't manage to evenly space them, don't worry. There's lots of Julie's other little, you know, you could put holly in between. Use any of the little tiny postage worker stamps, they call them, don't they? So You could use them. Right, enough. That's enough, that'll do, because I do have other things to put on the top. See, it does kind of stain your stamp. But I've got some wipes. I don't think much comes off actually when you wipe it. It just kind of leaves its pigment behind. See, look, not much comes off. But the little stamp is stamped red. But it won't make any difference to the stamp. Next time you use it, it won't go put some red anywhere. Let me put it away before I lose it. I do not want to lose that. So handy, that one. Right, so there you go. And then because this is permanent ink, it's stained that. But again, it won't make any difference at all to that. Okay, let's move that out of the way. So we've got the lid part ready now as well. I think that's all the stamping we need to do for now. So let's get this thing going. Right, so this is the inside of your front panel. Now, I haven't put this template for the window right in the middle because the lid is going to go on there by 1 inch. So you kind of, if you put your lid against it, make your lid first, put your lid against it, or just use the edge as a guide, and then just kind of gauge roughly the middle part between where the lower edge of the lid is and the bottom of there. Okay, so now we're going to turn it over and we're going to add our decoration, and then we're going to cut through everything at once. Okay, so that is now going to go on there. Let me get my glue out. Studio Light tacky glue I'm using for this. So around the edge, and then do some around the middle as well, where you know it's going to sit against the aperture part inside. So let's pop that on. And I've just come in a little bit, as you can see, there's a border all around it. There we go. I'll get a tissue to press this down. I don't want no dirty fingerment. No, I haven't tried that, Jean. I'll have to have a go with that. I'm always frightened. I do have a stays on remover, but I'm always frightened of ruining the stamps, you know, because it's quite a heavy solvent, isn't it? And I'd hate it if I ruined my stamp. But I'll give it a go and see how I get on and let you know. Right, side mat, which we did before. This can go on too. And I'm using Studio Light glue for this. It's my favourite. It's as good as Pin Flare and a fraction of the price. So, in my opinion. That's in my opinion. Right, so this is the front panel. Let's do the back panel while we're at it. Okay. So, is everyone following me so far? It's not. If you manage to have a go at this and you get stuck or you don't understand whatever, just private message me and I'll let you know how and what you're doing wrong. But it's pretty straightforward. Once you've got all the scores done, it's pretty straightforward. The only slightly difficult part is the acetate box, but if, you know, you take your time with it, you'll be all right. Okay. Right. So that's the actual box made. Now, decorated rather. This one is the one that we've drawn the templates on the back. Okay. So we need to get a ruler with a nice straight edge and a knife. I'm going to use a knife and I'm cutting against the mat. Now, if you've got a die that is 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, then perfect, go for it. And I don't have one with that exact measurement on, so I'm just going to cut. And this way you're cutting through. Take it slow. You're cutting through both the box itself and the panel you've just added, okay? And so you know they're both going to be the same size. Just take it slowly. There we are. Or like I said, use a die. It doesn't have to be difficult to cut this out if you've got a nice sharp knife. There we go. And if you don't quite hit the corners, then, see, as I say, you can use your little tiny scissors, if you can find them, little detail scissors that snip right up to the edge. I'd rather do that than overshoot. Pop that off. There we go. Isn't it funny when you're doing live, you'd always shake? I don't shake normally. I just want to get it right, I guess. There we are. And then there and there. Now this panel that you've got here now, if you wish, you could use that on the back and you don't have to use that. Do you know what I mean? It depends on what you're putting inside it, I guess, but that will come in for something else. I will not waste it. Okay, so now what I want to do is put some sticky red liner around the edge. Try and get it bang on the edge, don't let it stick over, or you'll see it from the front. Now that's not too tidy there, is it? Come on. This is me and my shaky hands today. There we go. Gotcha. Again. Wow. There we are. That'll do. Okay, so put some of your red liner tape right around the edge. I find red liner tape's best for this. If you're not putting anything inside it and you're just doing an aperture and you're using vellum, then obviously you can glue it if you want. But there we are. Right along the edge. We don't want anything falling out of the shaker. Okay, now things you can use for this. So you can either have, for the window part, because the box sits inside, you can either put now a piece of acetate on there so you can see through, just a clear piece, okay, or you can put, oh, I've just cut a piece of star foil and I can't find it. It's shiny, that's why. Oh my goodness. Plain acetate. Ah, here it is. Or hazel, if I get a black piece of card, you'll be able to see this better. Okay. Hazel's got some really beautiful printed acetates by Studio Light. Okay. That would go nicely on there as well. Or she's got this stuff, which is matte on one side and shiny on the other, and this is called star foil, so that whatever light you put in, when you look in through it, they look like little stars. It doesn't, you know, no fancy shaped lights, just basic lights, but they look like stars. So I think I'm going to go with the star foil because I really do like it. And as I said, there's a shiny side and there's a matte side, and I always put the matte side on the inside. Okay. So I'm going to take these things off here. There we are. And then I'm going to pop my star foil down. So that's your acetate window essentially blocked off. Okay. There we are. Let's get rid of them. Let me find my shiny side. Yep. And pop that on there. Press it down. Don't ever use glue with star foil. It's just not strong enough. You need to use red liner tape. Okay. So let's do the box, the acetate box now. And I will give you the measurements. The acetate box, you need a piece of acetate that is 7.5 by 7.5, okay? So you need to score it on all four sides at half an inch, all four sides, and 1.5 inches, okay? Take it round and do it at 1.5 and 1/2 inch. The difference is that the red tape is much stronger. It holds much better than double-sided tape. Okay, it's perfect for acetates and vellums and things that are a little bit heavier than normal card. And because it's see-through, you don't want to see, you know, the actual glue part of it. So yeah, red liner tape. I use it for albums. I use it for things like this. If you're making a memory album, the last thing you want is for it to fall to pieces. So I always use red liner tape. Okay. So we have it now scored, and we kind of do what we did before, really. We take off the outer 3 rectangles, okay, because we need to create a tab. All right, so take off the outer 3. It's very similar to the lid. Okay, and then that one that's left, that square that's left, we turn that into a tab. Yeah, again, this looks like the lid. It's it looks like it's going to be a reinforced side, but you'll see that's not quite how it works. So I'm taking my time with this today. I don't want to mess it up. As it's easy messed up. Believe me, this is taking much quicker than when I first made it. When I first made it, I'm not joking, it nearly took me all day. And it comes back to that question the other day saying, oh, how come it takes you only, that was on, how come it takes you only a short amount of time to make these things? Well, that's because we've already made our mistakes before we do the live. Ain't that the truth? So you don't have to make the mistakes that we did, and we were putting it together first. So there we go. One more little bit to take off. Down to take that last bit off. There we go. So there we are. So with this, it needs to be really, really well scored. You need the acetate to be nice and crisply scored. So score it in. The inside one comes upwards, and the little 1/2 inch score goes backwards. Okay, so like that. Put the tab in. Again, you can mitre it if you wish. The small 1/2 inch outwards, and the inside score comes inwards. Okay. And this will give you a really nice acetate box to put stuff in. Or this could be an acetate lid for something that you're doing. You know, everyone knows how to make an acetate box to put something special in. So score it well. See, just the tabs to score on this now. and that last tab. Nice and crisp. Okay, so what we need to do now is put some red sticky tape, okay, on the tabs so that they're going to fold around like that. And these edges that are left sticking up, we want some sticky on there too, okay? So when you've done that, it looks like this, yeah? Tabs and edges. So I'm going to put the tabs down and glue this thing together to show you the box, okay? So bear with me while I take all these off. Make sure it's nice and square, okay, when you're putting it together. And like I said, if you want to, you can mitre. I think I did mitre these ones, that's why it's going together quite easily. And corner to corner, stick it down. Now I'm putting these on the outside of the box. Usually when you're doing this, you put them on the inside to make a lid. But I'm putting them on the outside because I don't want to see the joins on the inside. So if they're on the outside of the box, they're not really... And plus, if you're putting things like, I don't know, sequins and things in, sometimes they catch on the... So the inside of this is totally smooth. You know, sometimes the sequins can catch on it. So I'm putting them on the outside. You won't see them. You will not see them. Okay. Right, so now I need to plug in my hot glue gun. Okay, so you are then essentially left with a box with an outside edge that has sticky tape on. See, like this, yeah? So make sure it's nice and square, because this has been lying in a box waiting to be used. So, and you want them to sit like this because they are going to attach once it's full to there, like that. Okay, so that's why you can see why we need those taped edges done. Right, now I'm just, while that's heating up, because I should have plugged it in before, I'm going to just have a little chat about what you can put in these. Now, I'm going to put trees in because I think they're cute. I bought a huge bag of trees off the internet. And in it was lots of different sizes and lots of different colours. Okay, so we got gold, proper green, and then a slightly different colour green there. Now there should be 5. Hey man, where's that one gone? How can you lose a tree on your desk? So much for being tidy, eh? Let's see. Oh dear. No, it's definitely gone. Oh, there it is. Okay, and a silver. So we got 2 different greens, a gold and a silver. Okay. So I'm going to attach these with hot glue in there. So you have to make sure whatever you're putting in doesn't come higher up than the back of this box, okay? Because otherwise you won't be able to, you know, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. So I'm going to use the cute little trees. So that panel that we did before, okay, that panel, oops, is going to go on the back of this acetate box so that when you look through your actual thing, you can see that at the back, or you don't have to put any in. I like it with the backing in. I think it's cute. So I'm going to put that on the back of this box. Do you know, I'm half tempted to go with that one now because I really like the red part of it. No, I'm going to go with the green. Going with the green. Okay, so for that I'm going to use red liner tape because it's going to be needed. So it's going on there. Or should I put it inside? I think I'll put it inside, it's easier. And then I know which way up, right way round and all. There you go. So inside it goes. Sticky tape again. On the back. And we can pop it in the back part of there. I did have, look at the mess on my desk. Oh my goodness. It'll soon be tidy, no worries. The mess that is my desk. I think this has got to be the messiest live I've ever done. Stuff everywhere. Usually I throw it on the floor. And then pick it all up afterwards. True crafter's desk today. There we go. So I'm going to pop this. Hold it up and pop it in there. Right, so there we go. That's it done. It'll come through nicely on the back there. All right, so is my glue gun hot yet? Not quite. The other thing I've got, if you decide you don't want to put these trees in, are these cute little stars. You can put them in and wrap your lights around them. I mean, anything, make anything out of cardboard and stand it in there, whatever you want. I've got snowflake, like, what are they called? I don't know, little plastic snowflake things, kind of like sequins, but I used them in the first one, so I thought I'd buy some of these little cute snowballs and put some of them in because it's trees. So let's see how we go with the hot glue. I'm going to put this one, I think that's the tallest one yet. I'm going to put this one in the middle. I'm using hot glue. So that's going to go, excuse my head, in the middle there. Okay. And then I'm going to have a green on either side and those ones in the middle. So here we are. There we go. This survived quite well in the post as well, to Julie, so that was good. I was a bit worried in case it didn't. There we are. 3 of the larger ones. And there. So you've got the trees behind. Them in there. Right. So, to the lights. Just make sure they work. And they do. So, the lights can go in next. You can just kind of feed them down and in and around behind the trees. You know, if you want to add a little touch of glue to keep them in place so they don't all fall forwards, you can do that with hot glue because it's see-through. Just a little tiny touch. Use your bone folder to poke it down. Okay. They should stay behind the trees anyway because the trees will kind of guide the lights. And then what you need to do is, I want some of the lights at the top. I don't want them all to be just at the bottom of the trees. This is going to come off outside of there and glue to the top of the box so you can change the battery. A little bit of glue in, pop it down. With your bone folder. I'm very brave, yeah. Brave or daft, one or the other, Jenny. Doing this as a live. But, you know, it did look kind of difficult to do, but it's really not once you break it down, like I said. So, pop it there, and then just do your last tiny bit of glue in. Put a bit of glue on there and take off the excess. You don't want to see big globules of glue. But because the star foil is super cool and it's got a little bit of frosting on the back, you will not see the glue. Okay, so you can switch your lights on, see where they're sitting, and just pop a little bit there to keep it down. I don't want them to come out and fall about all over the place. There we are. Now this star foil, when you see it lit up, it's really cool because the closer the light gets to the bit of the star foil, the smaller the little star looks. It's really, really lovely. So one thing to remember with your batteries, you're going to put this on the top. Okay, you're going to glue it on the top, but make sure you put it so that the bit you open to change the batteries is sitting upwards. Okay, and then you're going to easily be able to change the batteries. So just pop some glue on the back of it. Always does that, doesn't it? Just when you don't need it to. You need a glue stick and your glue gun. So, yeah. Glue on the back. Okay. And just pop it on the top. There. And then you can switch it on and off as you like. There we are. Right. Let's see where we're at now. Move all the stuff we do not need. Take a little drink. And there we go. Now we can take off this sticky around this edge. And I am going to need, I feel, something sharp to do that with. Because my fingernails are not what they used to be. There we go. You do want this to be totally covered. I'm taking this off before I put the snowballs in because you're kind of moving it about. Your snowballs will go everywhere. So remove. I mean, this is exactly how you will be doing it when you do it at home. So it's, you know, it's real time. If you get everything cut out and scored, then, and it's a lovely project to make. A special project, I think. You don't even have to give it away as a gift. You can just have it sitting under the tree, you know. And then next year, hoik it out and change the batteries. But don't forget to take them out before you put it away though, in case they go all weird. There we are. Real time. There we go. And the last one. And then I'm going to have to put some snowballs in. It's a good job these lights don't get hot, isn't it? I'd have melted snowballs everywhere. There we go. I had it then. There we are. Okay. Snowball time. Now let's get some out. Yeah, and the same, Jenny, honest to God, she'll see me when I'm doing the samples. It's everywhere. They're all over the floor, but I have to tidy it before I go anywhere else. Right, I think I'll put a few more in, and that'll do. I don't want to cover everything. There we go. Look, snowballs abound. There we are. Some little runaways. So, you've got that there ready. And now all you need to do is stand up, be brave. Oops, I've still got a little bit of red there. That would never have stuck down. Excuse my head, guys. There we are. So, get your acetate piece now. Be brave about it. You can see the stars already, can't you? Okay. Make sure you kind of line the window up. I think I've got it. Put your hand underneath and press it down. Okay. How cool are those stars? Then once you think you've got it down, I'm going to put a piece on the back of there and it will be that one. Okay, because I never rubbed that out, so that would be the plan today. See, there's always something you can fix it with. Press it right down. There we are. And now I'm going to put that on there, the back, to hide it. Now, on Julie's, like I said, I decorated the inside, but that did take a long time. But like I said, it's up to you. You don't need to do it if you don't want to. Put some nice tissue in for your gift. There we are. Now we're getting somewhere we can put it together. What time is it? Oh, that's not too bad. 1 hour and 15. I just wanted to take me time with it, because you know me, usually I rush it and do everything rushed. But this is not something you can rush really. Just enjoy the process and have fun with what you're going to put inside it. There we are. Okay, I'm going to cover that now, so it's nice and neat on the inside as well. Whew. Thank goodness for saves. Right, let's put this thing together. There we are. Now, here we go. That one is, sorry, wrong way around. That one is going to go there. So we've got a long, a short, a long, a short, a long. Okay? So if you turn it back over again, you'll be able to line it up. No bother. Or you can do it from the front if you wish. Or you can you can put this one together with that one before you put that on. It's totally up to you. Okay? So I'm going to turn it on its side, because I do work better on its side. And I'm going to line the top and right along the crease, line the bottom. Put some glue on it if you feel you need to, if you don't hit it the first time. There we are. It's in. And now that one will go on there. Okay? And that will make your box. When she gets this off, that is. See, this red tape, it does allow you to fling it about a bit while you're doing it. There we go. Turn it over. Put glue on if you're not very good at lining things up, so it'll give you a bit of wiggle room. And then you can just line it up nicely, press it down. Okay, then you can turn it over, and what you want is, if you look at it from the front, you want that front flap to be the last one that you put down when you're gluing it, okay? Because then it'll be much neater from the front, you won't have a seam in it. So glue them two, and then these two. So 2 side ones on, the one at the back down, and then this down too. Don't forget, we're putting a piece over this to hide that join. So once you've got it down, turn it over and pop it, your hand in. Make sure it's nice and square or rectangular, if you know what I mean. Okay, now I'm going to do the inside one first. Alright, well, see if the outside one, either or, yeah, that's fine. Just want to make sure I've cut it right, because it was a while ago and I haven't really checked it. So I just want to drop that one in and press it down so the inside of your box looks nice in there now. And then lay it down and put the outside one on, and that will cover that base as well. And it will also strengthen it, just in case you are putting you know, a heavy item inside the box. Okay, put it on, turn it upside down and press. There we are. And then we've got a nice tidy little box. So now all we've got to do is the lid. There we go. I'm going to bring it up so you can see them stars. Let's hope you can see them. I'm just waiting for my computer to catch up. Can you see the way the lights shine like stars? It's so cute. It's really cute. And I've got lots of snowballs in there as well. Right, lid. We've already got it cut ready. Okay. So I'm going to put... Oh, the mat's too long. Let's take a bit off. The mat is too long. 6.5. It should be 6.5, not 6 3/4. That's it. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, I want a little bit more off. There we go. Put the lid on, matte lid, so it matches the rest of the box. If you have got dies and you're cutting the aperture out the front with the dies, then you could always cut yourself a frame, I suppose, to put round the aperture at the front, but I don't think you need it, to be honest. Or you can decorate it with some whatever, trees, poinsettias. Now, when I'm doing a lid, okay, I like to make it around the box, okay, and then you know it's going to fit. So start off by with your first corner and get that square, okay, give it a minute to catch, and then second corner, like I said. Always know then that your lid is going to fit your box. Come on, stick for me. There we are. Third one. Slide it under. Press it down, and then you can do your fourth one as well. And then you can just hold it for a little minute while it takes before you remove it to do the rest. Yeah, it's looking kind of cute, isn't it? Right, there we are. It's stuck enough for me to remove it, and then you can press it down on the inside. Now this extra bit that you've got now, if you put some glue on the inside, you can then fold this down and make a reinforced side. Now, it's warm today. Glue's not behaving itself very well, so we might have to put a peg or two on it for a minute. Yeah. There we go. Or you can turn these down and put them on the outside. It's totally up to you, you know. Go inside, same with this side too, some glue, and in we go. And then just make sure before you glue the last piece down that it still fits over your box. And oh, we stuck. There we go. There we are. And then you can do the last one. You can press all these down and do the last one. Okay. There's not much more to do now, really. Except make sure it sticks. And that one just won't. Probably best using red tape for this as well, really. There we are. Just hold it a minute. Okay. And then I'll talk you through the little things I'm putting on. So, using Emma's lovely lanterns, I made a shaker lantern with some sequins as a tag then. And I also cut, using Julie's dinky circle and Mary's lovely wreath, I've cut myself something pretty for the top. I just coloured it in distress ink, and I think it was lumberjack plaid, yeah. Alright, there you go. So I'm going to put this together while that lid's sorting itself out. Pick off the foam backs. Oh my goodness me. It takes longer to get the foam backs off. Is that it? Is that everything? Yeah. So I'm going to pop that in the middle. Isn't that lovely? Okay. And I also used the sunflower to put that on there. my glue gun's still pressed, plugged in, so I shall use that, make sure that won't come off the top. And I also did, how lovely is that? That would look really nice with some little beads in the middle of it. You know them, what are they called? Seed beads, that's the one. Okay. And I also did a winter wishes thing. Okay. Ready for the lid. So, the lid goes on. And then we can glue that in the middle. Pop the winter wishes on. And then I shall show you how to put the ribbon through it. There you go, nice there, and winter wishes just sticking out of the side. There we go. Okay, so that's the lid decorated. Now, ribbon. I've used red satin on there. Okay, I'm not sure whether to put that under there or tie it through the ribbon. I'm not sure. I think I might put it under there with some glue. I'm not sure yet. I don't like knots in things. I think they look really ugly. Apart from when they're hidden inside, obviously. I don't want that to be too long. So yeah, I'm going to pop that underneath there with some hot glue. There we go. So it kind of hangs from there downwards. There we go. Like that. Okay. Now we're just going to do the ribbon sides. I like the way this works now for the ribbon. So, on the side of the lid there, remove it, and on the lid side, the short side there, I want you to get a hole punch or a crocodile or something of that kind of thing, and kind of try and punch a hole in the side. If not, use a bit of foam and poke it through. Now, I can't find my hole punch anywhere, so I think I might have to do the poking through method, which isn't the best really. So, put a bit of foam on it and poke a hole. I guess you could do this before, but I want quite a roundish hole, so I'm using my small scissors. Okay. So I've got a biggish hole, which you won't see, and then you can kind of gauge on the other side how big you want this hole to be. If I could find my hole punch, I would be really pleased. But you know when you lose something, and I've had that, mind you, I tidied my craft room, so it was bound to happen, wasn't it? I was bound to lose it. There we go. Make a hole in it. You won't see how messy this hole is, because I'm going to pop ribbon through it. Okay, put it back on your box, and then you can mark using a pencil through that and put a mark there. Okay, yep, got it. Just lift it up to make sure, and then you can use your hole punch on there or whatever you've got. Poke that out. So I'm using me crop to make a hole in the sides. There. There we go. And now ribbon time. I'm going to use the same thick ribbon that I've used for the tag part there. Okay. So reel some off, depending on how long you want it, and thread it through. Okay. Tie a knot or two, just to make sure it won't come through. All right. There. Take off any excess you don't need. Okay, work out how much ribbon you think you're going to need for your whole box. I'm going to go with that much. You can always trim it a bit as you make the knot. There we go. So, poke it through the lid on one side, like that. Bring it over poke it through the lid on this side, but going from outside to inside. Okay, like that. And then from outside to inside on your actual box. Am I even in the camera? There you go. Okay, and then you can tie your knot. So, I'm hoping I've got that right. I think I have. Then you can tie your knot in it. There we are. Cut your excess off. I hope that you've done it right. Okay, there we go. So now you have a lid with the ribbon that comes through the box, through the box and through your lid. So that you'll never lose the lid off that box. Let me just make some space. Oh, thank you, Donna. To be honest, it's not my original idea. It's the original idea, before I messed about with it a bit, came from, oh God, I've made this box a few times over the years, and, you know, different themes and what have you. But it was from Sam Colcott. She's so clever. And I borrowed the idea from her. So it's not, you know, it's not technically all me. It's Sam as well. So there we go. So that then is your light up box with your tag, pretty, and your ribbon. There we are. I'll take some pictures of it and I'll put it on. And then if you don't want it to shine, save your battery, just reach in and switch them off, she says. There we go. And then it just looks like that, with loads and loads of snowballs against your trees. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It did take a while. There you go. I think that's the longest live I've ever done for Julie. So thank you so much for joining me, and I cannot wait to see yours. So thanks again, and have a great day. Stay hydrated and cool in this awful heat, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.